Cropping images in SwiftUI can be a challenge due to the framework's emphasis on declarative and reactive programming, which sometimes lacks direct support for low-level image manipulation tasks. However, fear not. This video tutorial is your guiding light through the maze of SwiftUI image cropping. With clear explanations and step-by-step demonstrations, it will equip you with the knowledge and skills to conquer image cropping challenges effortlessly. So, dive in and unlock the secrets of seamless image editing in your SwiftUI projects. And if you want to escape tutorial hell and learn about iOS, Swift and SwiftUI, go ahead and check out rebeloper.com/mentoring. More on this later in the video. Now, today we are going to talk about how you can crop images in SwiftUI. It's really amazing. And we are going to type out some code. So let's get into it. We are going to use this handy GitHub repository from Tim Oliver, TO CropView controller. As you might expect it is a view controller. It comes from UIKit. And unfortunately, it does not have a SwiftUI component, but it works really well with UIKit. As you can see, this is on iPad. It can be rotated, cropping, just coming back. There's a done button. There's a cancel button, and you can also crop in a circle. It's really amazing. So we are going to do that. I have prepared a starter project for ourselves. It's called a cropped photo speaker demo. We are going to create an actual cropped photo speaker for use in SwiftUI. And I have already added the TO CropView controller as a Swift package, as a dependency. And I have set up some files that, there might be a lot of work to do in this tutorial. So basically, this type alias for cropped photo speaker cropping style. It's a long one, so CropView cropping style. We're going to create the CropView, that's why. And then some options right over here. So feel free to just stop the video here and just copy it out. These are the cropped photo speaker options that you can set on TO CropView controller. As you can see, there's a bunch. It's so customizable. And then this CropView controller plus to set the cropping options for our view controller. Again, please feel free to just stop just the video right over here and just copy all of this out. And then there is this photo speaker item to convert transformable into a UI image. We are going to use that when we are getting from the actual photo speaker item. Okay, so that's the setup. Here is my view. We have a simple content view, and I'm going to bind a selection of UI image so I can do whatever I want with that UI image. It's an optional, of course, because, at first we don't have any UI image. It should be nil. And then I just set up here a cropping options. So crop photo speaker item options done. And again, I'm going to link this GitHub repository inside the description, so you don't have to stop again for just taking a look at it inside the GitHub repository. And then I have this selection. If the selection is not nil, I just put it into a UI image. I just have that image. And then we're going to have this cropped photo speaker, which we are going to build. There are going to be two steps over here. The CropView, which is a UI view controller representable, from UIKit. We are going to grab that from TO CropView controller. And then we are going to construct the cropped photo speaker, which is kind of an expansion on the photo speaker from SwiftUI. So let's get into the code. CropView controller. Again, you do need to add TO CropView controller as a dependency, as a Swift package. So let's import it. So let's import CropView controller. And that's kind of the Swift version of TO CropView controller. Yeah, TO CropView controller is actually built in Objective-C. Yeah, it's really rolled and it's really working. Okay, so we're going to create a struct over here. I'm going to call it CropView, and it will adhere to UI view controller representable. That's right. So we are going to adhere to some stuff. That's why the warning is right over here, like make UI view controller and update UI view controller. But first, let's set up some structs that we are going to use to make our lives easier handling these images. So the first one is cropped. There we go, cropped. Rect. So we are going to get back a cropped rect, and that will hold a rect, basically a CG rect, and also an angle, and that will be an int value. You will see this how we are going to get back. I wouldn't like to have a tuple right over here, and also we are going to get back a cropped image, and that will hold the image. Let image of UI image, and then the rect. Actually, I'm just going to copy these two out. Okay, so these are the two structs that we are going to use. Now, what does this UI view controller have to have? There are some properties that we are going to set from a custom initializer. So all of these will be private. So let's create an image first of UI image. This is the image that we are going to feed to the view. And then another private var of did crop to image. This is a completion that is going to give us back. It's actually an optional completion. Let me just make that first. It's going to give us back the cropped image. You see, now we are going to use these structs that we have created. And then we want to do the same. So I'm just going to duplicate this line to have a did crop to circular image. So again, we are just going to get back a cropped image. Let's duplicate because it's a little bit easier. Did crop image to rect. Did crop image to rect. And this time we are going to have the cropped rect. All of these are going to be optional, and then if we console, we want to let the user know. So let's create a private var, and this will be again a completion, but this time I'm going to return a Boolean value over here. Okay, and finally we are going to use the CropView controller that comes from the TO CropView controller library. So private var let controller of type CropView controller. Okay, so let's create an initializer for this. In it, I'm just going to use this one, and in some cases, let's see, private let cannot, yes, let's just see what's going on right over here. Yeah, most probably we are going to, private var let. Okay, so we need to have that only. Are you an aspiring iOS developer? Collaborating with me as your mentor at rebeloper.com/mentoring can supercharge your career. With significant industry experience and a profound grasp of iOS development, I provide actionable insights, keep you informed about industry trends, and teach efficient coding strategies to empower your growth. Let's enhance your iOS journey together. Connect with me at rebeloper.com/mentoring. So let's see what changes do we need to add over here. So this will be, and I forgot the cropping style right over here. Yes, we do want to have a cropping style. So cropping style, and that will be a cropped photo speaker cropping style. And let's just use the default values. So I'm using this initializer to set up some initial default values. Let me just add all of these into a new line so we can read it better. And then I'm going to take a look at them. So first of all, I don't want this to be nil. I just want these to be, yes, these are going to be nil. Let's remove the escaping parts then. There we go, the escaping parts. And for the did finish console, we are going to leave the escaping because we are not going to have a default value. And then the controller, we are not going to add the controller into the initializer. Rather, we are going to create it. So right over here, we have our image. Let me just have some more room over here. And the completions are just really, really nice. Now about the controller, we need to initialize the controller right over here. So we are going to say self-controller equals CropView controller. And you can see there are two initializers right over here, one with the image and then the one with the cropping style and image. So we're going to use this one. So the cropping style will be the cropping style that, and the other one, so cropping style. And for the image, we are just going to pass along our image. And then we are going to set up our cropping options for this controller. So self.controller set cropping options, and then those cropping options. Just a second, I think I forgot about the cropping options also. Yes, we need to also have a cropping option right over here. So cropping options, and those will be our cropped photos picker options. Default, I'm just going to have the default initializer. As you can see, there's quite a lot that we can set up right over here. Okay, and then we just pass along our cropping options. So yeah, this is the initializer. We do need it because, as you can see, we have a lot of setup going on right over here. But then we have our controller set up ready for UIKit. Now we are going to create all of those let's just create the coordinator first. So let's just have a class of coordinator. Okay, and that will be of type NS object, and we are going to adhere here for the CropView controller delegates. So CropView controller delegate. There we go, CropView controller delegates. Right over here, I'm going to import the parent. It's much easier to just access all of those properties from the parent like this. So parent CropView. And then let's create that custom initializer for it. There we go. It's as Xcode gave us. And then we want to add all of our delegate methods. This is kind of the magic where we convert the UIKit delegate methods into our actions, not actions, but our completions that we set up, you know, the deep crop to image and all of those. So next, what we need to add is the delegate methods. So let's just type this CropView controller. Let's start typing out. And you can see there are a bunch of right over here. We are going to start with the obvious one, and that is did crop to image with rect and angle. So this is what we actually are looking for. This is one of the most important ones. So as you can see, we have an image, a rect, and an angle. So let's create a cropped image, and that is a cropped image. We are just going to pass these parameters along, crop rect and the angle. And then we're just going to use the parent to move all of this information up to our completions. So parent dot did crop, and we are going to use the one with to image. You can see it is requiring a cropped image, which is nice, and this is optional, so I add the question mark over there, and I'm just passing along the cropped image. So it's as easy as that. Let's do the second one with the, let's just see what else do we have right over here. Did crop to circular image. So that's kind of the same, so I'm just going to copy this out. We don't really care if it's circular or not circular. If it's set to circular, that's fine. We should anyway respond with a cropped image. Okay, let's have the other ones, and that will be our did crop image to rect. Yeah, in some cases you do want to have access to, you know, what kind of rect did you have. I found this to be a little bit an extra stuff over here, but nonetheless we do have to move it up. So let cropped rect, and that will be our cropped rect, and just passing along, of course, crop rect and angle, and then the parent dot did crop image direct, and just passing it along. And finally, we want to make sure that we notice the delegate method when we are canceling. So final one, CropView controller, did finish canceled. And with that, we are just going to pass along the canceled boolean that we have right over here. So parent dot did finish canceled and canceled. This is not an optional, so we are not going to add that question mark over there. So that's our coordinator. What we want to do is just have the make coordinator function right over here, or maybe just over here down below. So make coordinator. We are going to have that make coordinator return a coordinator, the class that we have right over here, and just have a return coordinator with a parent, and this is self. So we are going to move the crop view into the coordinator. And finally, to get rid of that nasty warning, well, actually nasty error over there, we are going to add the make UI view controller and the update UI view controller. So let's just type it out and let Xcode take care of the rest. Make UI view controller. We are going to say controller, the crop view controller that we have set up in the initializer. Controller.delegate equals context dot coordinator. This is how we link the coordinator delegates to our make UI view controller, and then we're just going to return this controller. And finally, we want to add the update one, just because we need to, but we are actually not going to add any code on the update view controller. We don't need that. So finally, we have our UI view controller representable ready. Let's create that cropped photo speaker. So we are going to need to import Photos UI, because we are going to use the photo speaker, and then of course our cropped view controller. So crop view controller, that's what we are going to import. So let's create that struct. It will be a view cropped photo speaker of type view, and yeah, here we have, let's just have a text for now for an empty string, so we don't have that any of these errors. Now this cropped photo speaker will make all of that view controller representable into a more swiftier experience. So let's just create our first struct over here. Again, we do need an identifiable for the photo speaker. So we need to create something that is identifiable. Selected image of type identifiable, and let's have a var id. Let's just set its value uuid dot uuid string, and then this will hold the image. So image of type ui image. Okay, so that's our selected image. Also, we are going to need to pass along a label. So that label needs to be of type view. Now let's set up all of the properties that this cropped photo speaker will have. First of all, we need to set up its style. So let's have that. Again, I'm using private variables right over here, style, because I want to have custom initializers. These variables will be fed from the initializers. So this will be our cropped photo speaker cropping style. Yes, that's the one. And then some options. So private var options, cropped photo speaker options. By the way, the style is basically inside the options, but you may omit the options and just give a simple style. Okay, this is also in the TO CropView controller initializer, so that's why I just chose this route too. So now we need to bind the image. This is really, really important. So let's have a binding private var selection and this will be a UI image. Remember, we want to feed back to our initial view a UI image and then just do whatever we'd like with it. And then we need to have some callbacks. Did we crop? Did we cancel? And of course the label. So let's do the did crop first. Private var did crop. And this will be an optional completion. I just have that completion. And I'm going to have a crop direct right over here. You know, because the image is basically binded, so we don't need to pass it along. And that will be fine from the CropView's crop direct. That's right. For the cancel, let me just duplicate this. Did cancel. And basically, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to have just that completion. And again, I might not be interested whether the user canceled it, so this will be an optional too. And then the label. So at view builder private var label, and that will be of type completion label. Okay, let's create that initializer. Again, it will be a long initializer, but we are going to go through it almost one step at a time. First, let's move every new parameter into a new line so we can read it a little bit better. So about the style. Well, I want to give it a default style. So the first one is the default. You may choose circular if you choose to. Yeah, default is what I'm going to add in here for the initial value. Options, we want to have that initialized with the default options. As you can see, there's a lot over there. Feel free to just use any of the options, which I will also in my case. For the binding, well, we need to create the binding right over here. So binding UI image, it will be an optional UI image, just like this. And then, you know, there is no default value for the selection. You have to provide the selection. And then for the did crop, we remove the escaping parts. And then for the label, it has to be a label. And in this case, we do need to have escaping, and also we need to provide that this is at view builder. So just add that right over there. Okay, so one final error right over here, the selection. We need to access its wrapped value when we are assigning it. So just add an underscore, so self._selection when you are giving it its value. And everything is fine. Whew. Finally, we have that initializer. Now we are going to use the photo speaker from the Photos UI. Therefore, we need to set up some state variables like the photo speaker item and the selected image. So let's do that. Those will be state variables. State private var photos picker item. That will be a photos picker item. We are getting into SwiftUI territory right now. This is from the photos picker itself. And then another state variable which will hold our selected image. So private var selected image. And that is the selected image. Remember this, the struct that we have created right over here. We're going to get the image and pass it along to the selection in just a second. But this is how we are, with these state variables, we are going to control the photos picker that we are going to create next. So let's do that. Instead of the text, we are going to have a photos picker. And yeah, we are going to use the one with the selection and the label. It's the easiest one, and honestly, it's the most convenient one to work with. So we need to bind a photo speaker item. How convenient, we just created that. So at, where is that? $, photo speaker item. And then for the label, I'm just going to pass along the label, to parentheses, you know, the view builder that we added. Okay, so we have our photo speaker. It will just work as expected. It will just pop up and you may select image from your library or whatever you just have on a photo speaker. Now, we want to listen when we did pick a photo speaker. So, you know, we just listen to the changes on the photo speaker item. So on change of photos speaker item, sorry, we are going to get an old value and a new value. We don't care about the old value. Now we want to convert the info that this item has into a selected image. So if there is one, if let new value, then we are going to have a task over here, because the new value convert, the convert on the new value will be asynchronous. So let UI image equals new value. Remember this photo speaker item extension. This is what we are going to use right now. Dot convert. It's an asynchronous. It's going to give us back an optional UI image. Let's just have a wait over there. And then we want to make sure that this UI image is not nil. So we're going to guard against it. Guard let UI image else return. And if we have a UI image, we want to say, okay, the selected image equals selected image with that UI image. So now we have populated this selected image. Once we do that, this is kind of the raw image that we have picked. Now we want to crop it. Then, once we populate it, we want to show a sheet with the crop view that we have created, you know, the UI view controller representable. And this is kind of the last step to just combining all of this. We are going to present a sheet with an item. Let's just have the item as the selected image. And yeah, it's a selected image, not a UI image, because this has to be identifiable. We are going to get back a selected image, and then just pass along for the content our crop view. And I'm just going to have all of the options added right over here. So let's use option to select everything. And then here we go. The image. So for the image, we are going to have the selected image dot image. Cropping style, we are going to have the style. Cropping options, that will be our options. There we go. And then we have all of these completions. So let's hit return over here so it would expand. Right over here, on the first one, it is basically giving us back the cropped image. So we are going to have this image right over here. Also image, and then rect. Well, actually, I don't care about the rect, so I'm going to have an underscore over there. And for the did finish consult, again, I don't really care about the Boolean value because I know it just cancelled it. And finally, on the view itself, I'm going to have an ignores safe area, so we don't have that, peeking at the bottom. Now, what about when we do have an image? Well, we're going to say self selected image equals nil. So we're just going to clear everything. Self dot photos, on the new line, self dot photo speaker item equals nil. And then we are going to just pass it along. Self dot selection equals image dot image. This is the selected image's UI image. And optionally, we are going to say, okay, we just did crop. Self dot did crop optional, and let's just pass along our crop view dot cropped rect image dot rect, and then image dot angle. So this is how we complete. The same goes for when we have a circular image. So let me just copy this out and paste it in there. Now, I don't care when, about the completion when the rect was created. So I'm just going to say, remove this part. And then on the console, we want to nil everything out. And then say, did console, optional, and just pass it along like that. And we are done with the cropped photos picker. Now it's time to move it into the content view. Finally, a lot of code had been added, but now we can just use it. Cropped photos picker, and I'm going to use all of the options. So let's hit option return there. Let me just move this a little bit up so we can see the style. You may choose circular and default. I'm just going to go with the default. The options, you can create the cropped photos picker options, and I'm just going to pass that along to cropped options. Selection, we have a state variable available for us, a UI image, $ selection, and then did crop. This is a completion. We are going to get back here a rect, and then let's just print out some stuff so we know that we did crop. So print did crop to a rect, and then just pass along the rect. There we go. And then did cancel. Let's just print out did cancel. Again, you might not need all of these, and maybe you are not going to use this rect and cancel in your setup, but the label we do need to have that. Let's just have a text for now, and just have pick and crop image. Pick and crop image. Okay, so let's build and run this on the simulator. And there we go, pick and crop image. We are going to select one image, maybe this one. And after that, as you can see, a new UI crop view will be presented. And I can just move this around like that, rotate it if I wanted to, select, cancel. And yeah, all of this is customizable. Go ahead and check out the options that you can have over here. So let's say, well, I'm just going to go all the way in right over here. Let's select this one. Select that, and it has been populated on my view. It's as simple as that. Now, if you want to learn more about SwiftUI and maybe iOS development in general, go ahead and check out rebeloper.com/mentoring, and I will see you in the next one.